use it with social media marketing. A quick note, I've got some questions from the text. Where can I find an example of an employee advocacy program? What steps do I need to take? This right here is your reading. It is part of your assignments in this class. You might want to look into it. We're on Chapter 15, Employee Advocacy, creating an employee advocacy program in Section 7 of your textbook. If you see your textbook, you see these sections over here. Boom, Section 7. All right. We are looking at creating an employee advocacy program. Here is 7 important steps about how you create a team, set up goals, educate and train your employees, get employee buy-in, use tools and resources on hand, recognize and incentivize, track and report, and you have an employee advocacy plan. So I would lean heavily on this for this week's assignment. All right, so employee advocacy, chapter 15. So too often companies default to paying for external influencers, which we've had a chapter on that and talked about that, and forget to leverage their most powerful brand advocates, their own employees. How many friends do you have on social media? Do you work for a company? Now imagine a company with only 10 employees, 100, let's say, or 5,000 employees. How many people could they reach if all their employees posted on social media positively about the business? That is employee advocacy, which is defined as the promotion of a company or brand by employees who share information about their company's brand, product, or services on social media networks. Now, what are the benefits of employee advocacy for businesses? Well, there's greater reach. The average company employees have 10 times as many connections as the company has followers. Lots of people don't follow most everyday companies. You can also get increased brand engagement by utilizing your employees' social media outreach. Employees get 2 times higher click rates from their shares. So if you shared something, an individual with a lot of friends is going to get a lot more shares than, say, just the company for the same content. So brand messages can get reshared 24 more times more frequently than shared by employees versus the brand. So you can share on your page and help the brand get more reach. So that leads to another benefit, which is obviously increased business, leads to employee advocacy, if I could speak, is 7 times more likely to close than other forms of leads. So leads that you get through word of mouth via social media can end up being sales. So 64% of companies with formal employee advocacy programs credit advocacy, the employee advocacy, for attracting new businesses, and 45% of companies attribute new revenue streams to employee advocacy. So this is a big deal. It's something that's really kind of overlooked. Higher customer retention rates. Customers referred by an advocate of the company that works for the company, so 37% higher percentage of rate of being retained by the business for repeat business. So you can also use employee advocacy via social media, recruit, attract top talent, and retain employees. Social enterprises are 58% more likely to attract top talent and 20% more likely to retain them. So people trust, people that trust their employees as thought leaders, generally speaking, if you have a reputation in the community. I'm trying to think. We do this a lot at SMC. I don't think it's really a formal program, but I'll share a lot of things about SMC, and I'll go to church on Sunday. I mean, I'll go to a rather large church with like 2,000 people on a Sunday, and they'll ask me things about SMC that they saw on my social media. So if you think about it, me being an advocate for my own school reaches a lot of people that I know that are friends, that are followers on social media at my church, and they get a glimpse at SMC that they normally wouldn't get. So they're much more likely to send their kids there, to become involved in the school and somehow perhaps even donate. So using employees as advocates can demonstrate to customers that the company employs intelligent employees who are knowledgeable about a particular industry and are ready and able to answer customer questions at any time. I cannot tell you how many times I've gotten a question on about, say, financial aid or where the bookstore is or something like that through social media from friends who are either the student themselves or friends or family with a student that have reached out to me through social media. So this is a real deal. So what are the benefits for the employee who is the one doing the advocacy? Career growth. 86% of employee advocates say being involved in social media has positively impacted their career. They become known as thought leaders. Sharing industry-related content on social media can help employees be seen as true thought leaders and experts in the field. Network growth. On LinkedIn, people who share content regularly grow their networks 4 times faster than those that do not. And also, there's an incentive. So, incentives, company outings, gift cards, bonuses, and other rewards for being recognized as being an employee advocate on social media, online. You can grow your own personal brand. You can increase your employee engagement. Employees reported feeling more connected and enthusiastic about the company they work for if they engage employee advocacy. Now, where does this typically happen? Largely on Facebook, followed by Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, on down the line. A little surprising here. Facebook is usually backed right up by Instagram, but this time it's Twitter. Then on professional network LinkedIn, then there's Instagram. So Facebook far and away, but then you can see how people get involved in advocating for their own company on different platforms. So what are they talking about? Talking about like job postings, product promotions, discounts, and deals. This is the one that sticks out to me as a consumer, but it's a very small part of what's actually shared. Product information, community involvement, a company accomplishment, daily workplace life. Man, this is the day-to-day. 20% right up there with job postings. Like, hey, we're hiring. So those are the types of things being shared. So how do you do this? Well, number one, you create an employee advocacy program. This has a lot to do with that paper that we're talking about right out of Chapter 15, Section 7. You create an advocacy team, leaders within the organization whose role it is to run and promote the program. They're responsible for setting goals, getting employee buy-in, communicating the program, kind of telling people what to post and what not to post, more importantly, recognizing and incentivize employees who keep participating and to keep that up. Creating social media content and disseminating that information via their employees. It's a way to reach people that aren't necessarily following your organization already. So, set goals. How do you do that? What do you want to accomplish? Is it increase reach, engagement, increase website traffic from social media? Do you want to increase revenue and sales? Yeah, like duh. But how do you get there? Are you trying to recruit or retain top talent? Are you trying to hire people? Reduce the cost of paid social media advertising. If you can do it for free through your employees, then you don't have to do a lot of things that we've talked in this course about paying for, say Facebook or Instagram or whatever. So set your goals. What are you looking to do? You can educate and train employees. Oh yeah, and also you don't have to pay. You have to pay an influencer here. Think about that. You get free influencers that already work for you. So how do you create an employee advocacy program? You can educate and train your employees on the company's social media policy and brand guidelines. You want to be, not representing you in a negative way, bad language, or saying something controversial. They must have a clear understanding of what it means to represent the company online. So to get employee buy-in, show employees how to be an advocate will benefit them, offer them an incentive program, potential to move up if they make a big impact. Basically, you're hiring them as social media sales reps. Good way of thinking about it. Maybe there's a bonus program involved. Educate them on all the benefits, including career growth, network growth, growing a personal brand, and becoming a thought leader in the industry. Stuff that can help help them help themselves. So what are the tools and resources you want to use? This is another step in our Chapter 15, Section 7 that should help you on this week's assignment. Have it can be as simple as written guidelines, training programs, like what to say, what not to say. What kind of tools are you going to give them? Sharing and collaboration tools. You're going to give them a quick little training on when to post on Facebook, for example, something we've talked about in this class, when to post on Twitter. Can you give them a curation app? Are you going to provide them, graphics, say from Canva or something like that? So how does your employer support sharing work-related information on personal sharing network or personal social network, rather? Leaders share, setting a good example. So you kind of see what your boss does and you say, oh, I could do that. I could share, in fact, what they did. Employers giving feedback on the post. You can have a marketing person saying, this is good, this isn't great, could you take this down, could you enhance this, could I share this? Written guidelines, employer provided training programs, instructions for email and internal intranet page stuff. Tools provided making it easier to share, like a quick tutorial on how you share things. Employee tracks and recognizes contributions, a content library, some photos to share, colleagues and mentors that can train one another. examples on an internal network, so on and so forth. So these are all ideas that you can use as tools and resources when you're building an employee advocacy program. So you want to recognize and incentivize. 72% of businesses said recognition given to high performers within a workplace had a significant impact on employee engagement. And there's nothing different than working in social media marketing as an employee advocate. That's something you need to recognize. You have things like Employee of the Month, thank you cards, contest prizes, small gifts, that type of thing. Track the right metrics, though. Track. You need data to realize if you're being very effective. So how do you track the right metrics? What are we looking for? What's the effectiveness? Is this participation rate, active participation, top contributors, most engaging posts, organic reach, engagement, traffic, sales, earned media volume, audience growth, reach, engagement? What are you looking to achieve here? So what challenges have you faced? A lot of people say, hey, man, I'd love to do this. Boy, I really don't know what to post. Content challenge. It's difficult to keep employees motivated. It's like a kind of a one-time thing. People get involved and they kind of forget about it. Low adoption rate of employees. And people are like, nah, I don't want to deal with this in my free time. Leadership, commitment, and alignment. Little misspelling right there. Stu can't clean that up for me, will you? Measuring success, justifying the investment. People don't want to budget their time for it, their money for it. Although a lot of people are on social media while at work, why not earn some money while being on there? Employees sharing inappropriate content. I actually thought this would be a little bit higher up on the list because sometimes people post things that they don't think, I know where I work for BMW and I'm supposed to be promoting BMWs, but let me tell you about my favorite political candidate. Yikes. Brand detractors, hijacking efforts, people who kind of take over your hashtags or get your Twitter hacked or something. So how do you succeed with an employee advocacy program? You really need to customize it. You don't need to copy everybody else. You need to do what works for you. You need to communicate clearly. Don't force your employees. Communicate. That's part of you communicating clearly. You don't want to force your employees to do this. Employees to do this, however. You do want to encourage them, provide them the right tools. You find the ones that are interested, you get leadership involved, and you provide the right content. Give them something to say or else they might not say the right thing. So again, what's our takeaway here? In a noisy world of social media, it has become vital for companies to be able to leverage the power of their employees' social networks in order to stand out. Companies that are able to successfully implement employee advocacy within their organizations on social media will benefit not only for the organization but for the employees as well. Helps them build their brand, helps them feel like they're contributing to the bottom line, both as an individual and a teammate. That is Chapter 15, Employee Advocacy. Again, Chapter 15, Section 7, 7 steps for building an employee advocacy program. It's almost like I want you to do a little critical thinking and then write a stellar paper this weekend. All right. Good luck. Talk to you again soon.